The moon, old man Silas, hadn't always been so quiet once. His surface shimmered not just with reflected sunlight, but with melodies spun from stardust and moonbeams. He played a celestial violin, its strings woven from comet trails, and his music was the universe's original lullaby. It drifted down to earth, settling over forests, cities, and restless hearts. Weaving dreams of silver and shadow, children sighed peacefully, lovers whispered sweeter nothings, and even the grumpiest badger tucked its nose deeper into its fur, all cradled by Silas' nightly serenade. His playlist was vast, echoing the rhythms of tides and the sighs of sleeping mountains. But over millennia, a creeping silence began. Notes faded, melodies grew thin, and one by one, the celestial tunes slipped from his ancient, cratered memory. Lost in the vast, cold library of space, a profound loneliness settled upon him. Deeper than any lunar crater down below, in a small house clinging to a windswept hill, lived a boy named Leo. Sleep was a fickle friend for Leo. While the world dreamed, he'd stare at a ceiling, tracing patterns in the faint streetlight glow, his mind buzzing like a trapped bee. His mother's gentle hums, warm milk, even counting endless sheep. Nothing could quiet the restless energy within him. He felt adrift in the nighttime hours, an island of wakefulness in a sea of slumber. He'd press his forehead against the cool windowpane, gazing up at the silent, luminous disk. It seemed so distant, so cold. Leo didn't know why, but looking at the moon didn't bring calm. Instead, it mirrored his own wide-awake solitude, a giant, quiet companion in his insomnia. He often whispered questions into the night air, questions that seemed to vanish unheard into the immense dark sky. One particularly restless night, a sharp, clear sound pierced Leo's wakefulness. Not a bird, not the wind in the eaves, but a single, pure, impossibly beautiful note. It hung in the air like a frozen teardrop, vibrating with a sorrow so deep it made Leo's heart ache. He scrambled to the window, pressing his nose against the glass. The note faded, leaving a silence that felt heavier than before. Then, hesitantly, another note followed, tentative and fragile, like the first step on thin ice. It wobbled, cracked slightly, and dissolved. Leo held his breath, his eyes fixed on the moon. Was it singing? Or crying? The sound was unlike anything he'd ever heard, ancient and ethereal, resonating not just in his ears, but deep within his bones. It was a sound of profound loss, searching for its own echo night after night. Leo waited by his window. Sometimes the silence stretched unbearably long. Other nights, fragments would return, a cascade of notes like falling stars, a low, mournful drone like a cello made of mountain wind, a quick, playful trill that reminded him of sunlight skipping on water. Each fragment was achingly beautiful yet incomplete, a faded photograph of a forgotten symphony. Leo felt an inexplicable pull, a certainty that the moon was trying desperately to remember. He started to hum along, tentatively at first, trying to match the pitch of a lingering note. When a mournful melody drifted down, Leo found himself whistling a countermelody, something soft and comforting he made up on the spot. He didn't know if it helped, but it felt right, like offering a hand to someone stumbling in the dark. He poured his own wakefulness, his own longing for peace, into his simple, human sounds. Of fragile connections sparked across the void, encouraged by Leo's answering sounds. Old man Silas strained harder. Forgotten constellations seemed to shimmer a little brighter. When a familiar sequence almost emerged, Leo became more deliberate. He dug out an old, slightly dusty harmonica he'd found in a drawer when a particularly bright, hopeful fragment descended, a tune like bubbles rising in moonlight. Leo breathed into the harmonica, matching its playful spirit when a deep, resonant vibration echoed, low and sorrowful. Leo tapped a gentle rhythm on his windowsill, a soft heartbeat answering the moon's sigh. It was a duet across impossible space, a child and a celestial body rebuilding a lost language, note by tentative note, rhythm by echoing rhythm. The vastness between them no longer felt cold, but charged with shared effort and a growing, wordless understanding. Then, one extraordinary night, it happened. Silas, drawing on the echoes Leo had sent back, on the feeling of companionship that had warmed his cold core, found it not just a fragment, but an entire, flowing piece. It began softly, a melody as old as tides, gentle as moonflower petals unfolding it wove through the stars. Pure and clear and whole, Leo gasped, the harmonica forgotten in his hand, tears pricked his eyes. Though he didn't know why, it was the most profoundly beautiful sound imaginable, a lullaby woven from recovered memory and shared perseverance. The music didn't just fall. It flowed, wrapping around the hill. Seeping into Leo's room like liquid silver, it filled the spaces between his restless thoughts. Calming the buzzing in his mind, a warmth spread through his chest, a deep, peaceful sigh escaping his lips as his eyelids grew irresistibly heavy. The world outside seemed to sigh too. Trees stilling, night creatures pausing in their rustling. Bathed in the restored celestial harmony, the music continued. Softer now, a river of sound gently carrying Leo towards sleep. As his eyes finally fluttered closed, he saw, or perhaps dreamt, the moon glowing with a soft, internal light, a gentle smile seeming to touch its ancient face. The forgotten playlist wasn't truly forgotten anymore. It was found again, not in dusty corners of the universe, but in the space between a lonely boy's window and a silent moon's sorrow. Rebuilt by echoes and courage down on earth, in countless homes, children snuggled deeper, adults relaxed tense shoulders, and dreams grew sweeter. Painted in hues of moonlight and melody, Leo slept, truly slept, a small smile mirroring the moon's own, cradled in the rediscovered lullaby, a testament that even the oldest silences can be broken and the most distant loneliness bridged by the simple, brave act of answering a call in the dark. The night sang again, a duet of recovered memory and newfound peace, echoing softly under the watchful, grateful gaze of Old Man Silas.